All right, here's the thing, you guys. I don't know if you're like me at all, but I was always the kid that waited until the very last day to get my homework done at school. And then when I would hand it in, I would almost try and make a point of making sure that I like aced it, even though I was doing it at the very last minute outside the class. And that's exactly what we're going to do with today's fight picks. These are as last minute as it gets. Sean Strickland versus Fluffy Hernandez is tonight, but I'm about to pick the entire card, and we're going to go 100% today, boys. Watch this. So first we're starting with Sean Strickland versus Fluffy Hernandez. You know what the annoying thing is, by the way? It's like I have wanted to make a video about these fights for like the last 2 weeks because I saw that Sean Strickland was like a 3-1 underdog, and I was like, that's insane. Sean Strickland should probably be the favorite here. And so I wanted to make like just a quick pick video just for this fight alone, and then maybe like a full card fight picks video. And just for whatever reason, I've been in this like super crap procrastination phase. Just like I was back in high school, like waiting to the last second to do my homework. And I'm annoyed because I feel like I'm going to have the perfect pick here. Genuinely, I feel like I can see exactly how this fight's going to turn out, but I've just been too lazy to go make a video. I don't know. I feel like there's something wrong with me at the moment. Anyway, here's the thing, you guys. Sean Strickland is about to beat the brakes off of Fluffy Hernandez. Okay, and I'm a Fluffy fan. Like, I picked Fluffy to beat Delija. I think he is one of the best fighters in the middleweight division. Can probably beat everybody in the middleweight division except Sean Strickland and maybe Dricus du Plessis. I see that also being hard for Fluffy because Anthony Hernandez's strategy is to break you and wear you down and wear you out and, you know, put just the pace and pressure on you, very Colby Covington or even like Khabib style. For Sean Strickland, this is more valid than DDP because we saw that DDP's wrestling wasn't the best against Hamzat, but I don't know if Fluffy would ever do what Hamzat did, or if he has that just like strength and pure wrestling technique to keep DDP down in the same way that Hamzat did. But I definitely don't think that he has it against Sean Strickland. Like, Sean Strickland has very underrated grappling. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, but thing that you're going to notice in this fight is Sean Strickland doesn't get like flustered. He doesn't really get taken by surprise. Even if he does get taken down, when you see him getting back up, it's very calm. It's very methodical. And if you look at how Anthony Hernandez beat Roman Dolidze, it was like he was just stressing Dolidze out. And according to Sean Strickland, Dolidze was injured leading up to that fight as well. So I don't know, maybe he wasn't necessarily the best guy, but I just don't see Anthony Hernandez being able to take Strickland down in the same way. And when their frames collide, like when their actual bodies collide, Sean Strickland is a lot bigger and stronger than Anthony Hernandez is. And not in the same way that Roman Dolidze was, because, again, if you look at Dolidze when he was fighting, he's sort of jumping around. There's a lot of wasted energy happening. Whereas Sean Strickland, there's no wasted energy. It's just forward movement, very slow, very methodical. You know, front kick, 1-2, front kick, teep, 1-2, jab, 1-2, Philly, just there. If Hernandez goes in for a takedown, Sean Strickland's going to be able to stop them a lot better than Dolidze did and really make Fluffy work for it if he's going to get it. And in the stand-up, he's just not going to be able to push Sean Strickland back in the same way that Fluffy was. Sean doesn't really take a backward step. He wants you to engage. He has a very defensive fight structure, and he's stronger and bigger and has a more solid frame than Anthony Hernandez does. So every time they come in together, he's just going to keep that guard up, throw the punches that he can where they're going to land. And Anthony Hernandez is not going to have as much success just bulldozing him into takedowns, into, wasted movement. So I see Sean Strickland just staying there and doing more damage in each of the rounds. You might see Fluffy get a takedown, but I don't think he's really going to be able to do that much with it. Whereas when they're standing up, Sean Strickland is going to find moments to really damage Anthony Hernandez. And we're going to see how well Anthony Hernandez's pace and cardio can actually hold up against another guy that's really well known for having great pace and cardio and putting it on him. So this is going to be an awesome fight. I've been super excited for it. I just, especially with Sean Strickland being a 3-1 underdog, you have to pick Sean Strickland here. Like, it's insane not to. I feel so annoyed that I didn't make this video like a week and a half ago, because now like Guru picked Sean Strickland and blah, blah, blah. But like, I could see it. I see it being a decision most likely. Sean Strickland 5-round decision, probably 49-46. Maybe the first round goes to Fluffy or something like that. But I could also see it being like a late finish from Sean, like a TKO, 4th round, 5th round TKO. But I don't think that he's really got the power to just put away Anthony Hernandez like that. Hernandez has a real chin on him. But I just see Hernandez getting punished on his way in. Every time he tries to create that pressure and that pace on Sean, he's going to get hit with a solid jab. He's going to get a teep to the body as he's coming in. Those takedowns aren't going to land in the same way. When they do, Sean's going to roll with them, be able to get back up fairly easily. It's not going to take a ton of energy from Sean, and he's going to be right back on Anthony Hernandez with that 1-2, with that forward pressure of his own. Man, I mean, the pace of this fight is going to be insane. I think that's the reason why I'm so excited for it, is because it really is like an unstoppable force meets an immovable object, in Anthony Hernandez being the unstoppable force and Sean Strickland being the immovable object. But yeah, I don't really understand why Fluffy's the favorite. Sean Strickland did lose his last fight to DDP, but apparently he was injured and took that fight when he knew he shouldn't have as well. Fluffy doesn't take fights injured anymore. I think Sean learned his lesson from that fight. People are talking about Sean Strickland like he's super old. He's 34 years old. He's 34. He's fine. Like, this guy, in many people's lives, he's in his prime. Like, maybe not like his pure prime, but when you factor in experience and everything, like, he's a big, strong guy that doesn't really take a backward step and spars for 50 plus rounds constantly, right? I know he doesn't have the most exciting fights, but that's also because the guys that he's fighting don't really bring it to him in the same way, because they can't. It's hard to get through his guard and through that just like 1-2 that's going to come back at you every time. That shouldn't happen here. Anthony Hernandez is going to come to him, but I think what you're going to see is exactly why all of Sean Strickland's fights are so boring, because when you try and just break through that void that Mighty Mouse talks about all the time, you're going to get fucking smashed up. You're just going to get smashed up. So that's what I see happening here. Sean Strickland winning a 5-round decision, 49-46. Maybe Fluffy wins the first or second round, but other than that, it's just denied takedowns from Sean Strickland. When he gets back up, right on Anthony Hernandez, putting on that 1-2 teep kick, and just continuing to do that and push forward and push forward and push forward. And I think he's going to break Fluffy, the guy who breaks everybody else in the middleweight division. And again, that's also why I think that Fluffy beats everybody except Sean Strickland and DDP, because that's sort of their strategy, and they're just a bigger, more experienced version of what Fluffy's doing, in my opinion. If you look at both of Fluffy and Sean Strickland's fights with Brendan Allen, like, Fluffy had it was a competitive grappling match and a 3-round decision that Brendan Allen looked like he could have won that fight on many days. Sean Strickland destroyed Brendan Allen, right? Like, Sean Strickland destroyed Nazardine Imavov, who, very similar to Fluffy. I don't know if Fluffy beats Nazadine as easily. Maybe he does because of the style, but anyway. Moving on. Sean Strickland's going to win a 5-round decision here. Watch me be correct about that. Moving on to Geoff Neal versus Uros Medic. I want to go Geoff Neal here because, especially, he's off the sauce. He's living a good life. He's not being, he's not falling into his demons of alcoholism and drug addiction. But I mean, how? It's like, how seriously have you been taking your fighting career? At the same time, like, if you've been able to do it while being, on substances all the time, then you probably have a good chance of doing it when you're sober. Uros Medic isn't like the best fighter in the world. But Geoff Neal did get put out by that spinning back elbow from Carlos Prates in his last fight. And honestly, that was a pretty weak... It wasn't a weak spinning back elbow, but like it didn't seem like the hardest shot in the world, especially if you compare it to the one in the very next fight between Lerone Murphy versus Aaron Pico. Like that was a full on spinning back elbow straight to the face, like as you're coming in. So I'm wondering if Geoff Neal's chin has been cracked. Yeah, I'm gonna go Uros Medic by first round KO. Moving on to Dan Ige versus Melquizael Costa. This is going to be Melquizael Costa for sure. Like, I know a lot of people really like Dan Ige. He's a good fighter, takes fights on short notice. He's sort of got that Josh Emmett style to him. But Melquizael Costa he's underrated, man. He's very, very good. I think he's on like a 5-fight win streak. He beat Morgan Charrier in his last fight with this like beautiful high kick. And I just felt like he was going to win that fight. He's got a really good presence to him when he's in the ring. He's in the cage. He's like, good forward movement. He's really there to fight. He's one of those guys that like looks so hideous that, he really needs to be the best at this because he's got no other options. There's no like incoming brand deals other than maybe like a 101 Dalmatians movie or something like that. Dan Ige also, I'm just feeling like he's sort of past it. He has a height disadvantage here. Melquizael Costa is just going to piece him up from the outside. And I see him getting a TKO. So maybe like a first round TKO for Melquizael Costa. I'm seeing like a knee up the middle that fucking hurts Dan Ige really badly, followed up with a couple more strikes that puts Dan Ige down, and then, a couple more to get the referee to finish it. Melquizael Costa by first round TKO. Moving on to Serghei Spivac versus Ante Delija. Ante Delija, he started off this beautiful run that Waldo Cortez Acosta's having, where he's like gloating on Tom Aspinall with his eye patch and all that. By the way, did you guys hear that like apparently they're going to do Alex Pereira versus Cyril Gane for the interim heavyweight title? I don't know how true this actually is. I just saw it on one of the, YouTube news pages or whatever. I feel like it's BS. Otherwise, we would have heard it from Dana at this point. But anyway, Ante Delija is coming off that loss. He's a good fighter. I think he should beat Serghei Spivac, but I do wonder if he's in his head at all about that loss to Waldo Cortez Acosta, where he poked him in the eye. He was like about to finish Waldo, and then he pokes him in the eye. Fight gets paused. Waldo comes back and like a minute later knocks Ante Delija out. But Serghei Spivac's just been getting beaten a lot recently. Tom Aspinall, Ante Delija's training partner, has beaten Serghei really easily. So I think he probably has the game plan, and they've been able to game plan pretty well to help Ante Delija beat Serghei Spivac. Moving on to... That's the whole... I don't know. I thought that was the whole main card. Moving on to Jacobe Smith versus Josiah Harrell. 11-0 versus 11-0. Is that right? That's crazy. One of the O's has got to go. I'm going to pick... I don't think they actually have any stats on Josiah Harrell. I have a feeling that these guys are not both 11-0, but we'll check. And if I'm wrong about that, I'll add a quick edit in here. But I'm going to go with Jacobe Smith. When in doubt, go for the black guy. It's just as simple as that, guys, honestly. We're going to go Jacobe Smith. It's a welterweight fight. We're going to go by second round KO. Like flat, like just boom, like flash KO. Beautiful highlight reel, knockout of the night going for Jacobe Smith over here. Zach Reese versus Michel Pereira. Michel Pereira, oh my God. At middleweight Michel Pereira is maybe the worst fighter on the entire UFC roster, guys. Like, if you go see some of his fights like recently, like against Fluffy, or even, the fights since, like, he has no gas tank. He just gets wiped out super easily. And I see this being the exact same. Zach Reese, 6'4", 77-inch reach, has a 4-inch reach advantage. He's 10-2, wins half of his fights by knockout, a third by submission, has really good strike differential, like, whereas Michel Pereira basically like gives one to eat one, which is crazy when you think about how much flashy stuff that he does. But also Zach Reese has the takedown abilities. He's doing like 3.5 takedowns every 15 minutes, lands 2/3 of them, defends a bunch as well. Michel Pereira's takedown defense is very good, but I see Zach Reese winning this probably by a third round decision, where Michel Pereira like loses gas in the first half of the second round and then just like easily gives up the second and third round. Maybe Michel Pereira wins the first round with some like flashy crazy stuff, and then just completely literally empties his gas tank, loses the cardio battle against himself, and then just lets Zach Reese destroy him for the next 2 rounds. But yeah, so we're going Zach Reese by decision here. Okay, into the prelims. Chidi Bang Bang Njokuani versus Carlos Leal. This is a good matchup, man. Oh, this is hard. Every time I pick Chidi, I'm wrong. Carlos Leal's doing quite well as well. We're going to go Carlos Leal by decision. No, we're not. We're going to go... I just know that Chidi's grappling is not good, but Carlos Leal's not either. Okay, we're going to go, Carlos Leal by... I feel like Njokuani's going to get finished here. We're going Carlos Leal by first round KO. I'm picking a lot of finishes in this. I guess Michel Pereira I didn't pick as a finish, but we've got Uros Medic knocking out Geoff Neal, Melquizael Costa knocking out Dan Ige, Ante Delija. I guess I didn't pick the way that Ante Delija would win. I'm probably going to go with I haven't seen Delija be that special with his knockout power, and it seems like the guys that beat Serghei easily like grapple him to a submission. So we're going to go with an Ante Delija decision there. I'm also picking just too many finishes. Moving on to Ode Osbourne versus Alibi. Oh my God, Alibi Idiris. By the way, I was talking with a guy that half owns a company that Ode Osbourne owns part of as well, Triumph Cigars. They were looking for help with like marketing stuff. That is what I actually do for work. But anyway, we're going to go with Alibi Idiris here. I mean, just look at the records. Ode Osbourne's honestly not that good. He's like Jamaican fighter, but I was talking to this Jamaican guy once about like, he wanted some good Jamaican fighters. I'm like, you've got Ode Osbourne. He's like, yeah, okay. I was like, oh, shade, poor Ode Osbourne. But yeah, we're going to go with the Kazakhstani Alibi Idiris in the flyweight bout to win by decision. He's 11-1. He does a little bit more output. He hasn't been tested in the grappling, and he probably hasn't had that much UFC experience, but you look at the facial hair, you look at the beard, you look at the haircut. Come on. We all know what's happening here. Moving on to Alden Coria versus Louis Gurule. Okay, we're just going to speed run through these last ones. I think that Louis Gurule's tats are gay, so we're going to go with Alden Coria. I mean, seriously, like, you just deserve to lose when you look like this, in my opinion. Nora Cornolle versus Joselyne Edwards. you see, when in doubt, go for the black guy, but specifically when it's the black guy, I don't feel like black women fight that well in the UFC. Has there ever been a black female champion in the UFC? I don't think so. We're going to go with Nora Cornolle. Nora Cornolle. Nora Cornhole. We're going to go with her by decision because it's a women's fight, and that's how they all go. 16-6. Yeah, we're not getting a female black UFC champion anytime soon. Moving on to Ramiz Brahimaj. Oh wait, what the fuck just happened here? Oh yeah, Ramiz Brahimaj versus Punahele Soriano. Punahele sounds like he's from Hawaii. 5'11 versus 5'10, pretty much the same records. Lots more output for Punahele. Look, the strike differential for Ramiz is terrible. He, takes 50% more shots than he gives. I'm going to go with Punahele Soriano here by a knockout, second round KO. Actually, TKO. Moving on to Phil Rowe versus Jean-Paul Lebesnoyani. Phil Rowe has a lot of experience. He has a big height and reach advantage, 8.5-inch reach advantage. But Jean-Paul has a crazy output. We're going to go with Jean-Paul by first round KO to beat Phil Rowe. Phil Rowe getting taken out by first round KO. Then we've got Jordan Levitt versus Yadier Del Valle. Jordan Levitt's the guy that likes to twerk on guys when he beats them. And we're going to go with Yadier Del Valle here. He's not getting twerked on. Featherweight bout. He's going to destroy Jordan Levitt, bro. Does 3 times as many strikes as Jordan. He's from that, he's Cuban, He's got that Yoel Romero style grappling to him. I don't know about that. But Jordan Levitt's probably actually the better grappler in reality. He does 50% more takedowns at each fight. But Yadier Del Valle has a 75% takedown defense. So I see him stuffing a lot of Jordan's takedowns and then beating the shit out of him. And I think Yadier Del Valle is going to get a third round TKO finish. You got to remember as well, there are probably going to be more finishes now that every fighter that finishes their fight gets a 25k bonus. So there is more incentive to go for it. Juliana Miller versus Kali Judis. 5-3 versus 5-2. We're just going to go with the one that looks hotter. And honestly, neither of these two are that great, are they? This chick looks fucking so grumpy. Could you imagine coming home to this every night, boys? Fuck me. I think we got to go with Juliana Miller. She looks like a little bit of a pick-me-sha, but I think that we got to go with her. She also, badass tattoos there. We're going to go Juliana Miller. She's slightly hotter than Kali Judis, although both would be maybe the most correct 5 out of 10 for both of these girls that you've ever seen. For sure. Anyway, that's the picks. This is my last minute homework. Watch this be literally 100%. Just as a recap, we're going Sean Strickland, 3-1 underdog. That is easy money. Uros Medic is going to take out Jeff Neal's already cracked chin. Melquizael Costa is going to finish Dan Ige. Ante Delija is going to beat Serghei Spivac in a decision, but get his groove back, get his confidence back, and the next fight he's in, he's going to win by KO. Jacobe Smith, when in doubt, go for the black guy. Michel Pereira is going to get destroyed by Zach Reese. Chidi and Njokuani is going to get destroyed by Carlos Leal. Alibi Idiris is going to beat Ode Osbourne. Alden Coria is going to beat Louis Gurule because of his shitty tattoos. Just Nora Cornhole is going to beat Joselyne Edwards because she's black. Who did I go for Punahele Soriano versus Ramiz Brahimaj again? I think I went with Soriano. Yeah, I went with Soriano because of the output. And then we got Jean-Paul destroying Phil Rowe in first round. Yadier Del Valle taking out Jordan Levitt by a third round TKO. And Juliana Miller beating Kali Judis in the Battle of the Butterfaces, Battle of the Prawns. Anyway, see you guys. Hope you enjoy the fights tonight.